the fundamental issue here is that a senator can only speak from her seat or his seat. In this circumstance, Natasha actually has been relocated to another seat, which I asked her to do.
Hello viewers, it's your boy Osakono. Welcome back to our channel. Here again with the issue of Natasha and Senate President. Abba Moru, the minority leader, I would say a very big thank you to the way you handled this issue. Indeed, you are a leader. This is how a leader should go. This is how a leader should speak, and not a leader bullying people under him or she. Yes, Abba Moru has spoken well, and Abba Moru, God will bless you for the way you talk. The way he spoke regarding this whole matter between Senate President and Senator Natasha, it's a way I expected a leader to talk or to handle issue. You can imagine how this man, it's a minority leader. Don't forget the fact that this man is a minority leader, but he has what a leader should have. He has what those criteria, those requirements where leaders supposed to get. This is how leaders should handle issues, and not bullying people, and not shouting on people. Well, I go play the video for now about waiting Abba Moru, the minority leader, talk concerning this matter. And as you watch, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. God bless you.
I'm sure you did listen to Senator Natasha's Aboti's interview, where she claims that she's not being protected by the minority leader, which you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's your response to that?
Well, I just want to think that the circumstances surrounding Senator Natasha are not pleasant ones. Otherwise, she should have known that my responsibility is to try as much as possible to create some harmony in the Senate amongst our members and amongst members of the other political parties. And this is exactly what I try to do all the times. I don't know about the other times that she thought that I should have come to her rescue, but on this particular instance, I remember very well that as soon as the issues were being raised, I dashed down to the Senate President and spoke to him to ignore the rantings that were going on, and that it was not necessary. Bearing in mind that we have our rules and regulations, I tried to intervene on the part of the Senate President, and the Senate President said, hey, minority leader, you are a senator, you are aware of our rules, you know that I am the one that sees senators, I can receive senators, rearrange the sitting arrangement and the rest of them. And by our standard, by our rules, that is correct. The Senate President said he was going to enforce the rule because not to do so will be setting a very bad precedent. And I said, okay. Since he was not budging, I went to Senator Natasha and I said, my sister, please, can you please obey the directive which was being carried out by the Sergeant at Arms. Of course, the Sergeant at Arms has the responsibility of sitting senators. And so I said, please, can you please go back to where you have been assigned the seat, and so that we can resolve this matter much later. And she said no. She said no, that I should go back to the person who sent me to tell the person that she was not going to give the seat. So it was at that point that I felt frustrated, and I had to go back to my seat because she was not yielding to all my entreaties. And I think it made it difficult for me to even intervene on her behalf.
All right. let's address the issue of Order 10. She said she was standing on the Order 10 and so she could speak. Was that correct?
That definitely she knows is not correct, because Order 10 is trying to make use of privileges as senators. But the fundamental issue here is that a senator can only speak from her seat or his seat. In this circumstance, Natasha actually has been relocated to another seat, which I asked her to do. No, go to that seat, then you can enforce your right or your privilege, by referring to Order 10. But as it was, where she was speaking from was no longer her seat. And the Senate President again went further to enforce the rule of the Senate that, hey, look, you cannot speak from there. That was what brought out the altercation.
Now, it's been referred to the Ethics and Privileges Committee, and they've been giving 2 weeks to report back. What should Nigerians look forward to?
Well, I think Nigerians should look forward to a peaceful resolution of this matter. I think that people have to come down from their high horses in the interest of the institution that we represent, in the interest of Nigeria. There are many very serious matters affecting Nigerians that we should be addressing. I think this is an avoidable distraction. It's very unfortunate that it's happening at this time, and personal issues are being dragged into it and the rest of them. This is not necessary. And like I said, in the interest of that institution that we all represent, in the interest of our people, I think I will find an opportunity to further talk to our sister, distinguished Senator Natasha, because she knows that this thing requires some level of tolerance. It requires some level of patience, and it requires some level of focusing, because Natasha knows too well, and all of us know that our primary purpose of being senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is to address issues that concern our various constituencies and Nigeria as a whole. And so I think that if we realize that, and if we realize that this distraction is unnecessary, I want to plead with Natasha to sheath her swords. I want to plead with Mr. President to sheath his sword, and let us come to some level of dialogue. This has been the principle that I have adopted all along. Since I became a minority leader, I try to be very diplomatic. I try to embrace dialogue and engagement rather than confrontation. And I think in this instance, I should be able to ask Senator Natasha to please allow the sleeping dog to lie.
All right, Senator. Well, she on her Instagram handle, she's demanding an open hearing on the matter by allowing television stations to broadcast the session live to Nigerians. Any hope of her getting this?
Well, let me say this. We have our rules. The Ethics and Privileges Committee has its own rules and standards. And so, again, it is the prerogative of that committee, the prerogative of the President of the Senate to either direct an open hearing or play by the rules and allow the Ethics and Privileges Committee to carry out its assignment. I think in the circumstances, nothing is impossible. But I want to say here that I think that from what has transpired so far, everybody should see good reason for resolving this matter without further recourse to the violence of language that people are using in this occasion.
Well, the former president of the Senate, Saraki, and Atiku Abubakar, former vice president of the nation, have both weighed in on this matter, and they're asking that a thorough investigation be done concerning her allegations on sexual advances by the Senate president. that investigation going to be carried out?
Well, as you know, the people from different persuasions have offered different pieces of advice, and I want to assure you that in the circumstances, we need to come to a common understanding. And because some of these issues that you are talking about now are issues that are outside the Senate, you know, the only reason why all of us are involved here is because we are all senators. Otherwise, I think that our concentration should be rather on the issues involved here as per our rules. All these allegations calling for investigation, I think you will agree with me that it is not the responsibility of the Senate to investigate things that are patently not of great involvement of the Senate, as they say. Sexual advancement, allegations of sexual advancement, and the rest of them. They are all issues that, unless they are referred and involves a senator and they are referred to the Ethics and Privileges Committee, we are not going to cause any investigation. And because the rules are very clear, petitions have to be submitted, it has to be referred to the committee before investigations are carried out. And in all this, the Senate President has a role to play, because it is him that the petitions are submitted to. It is him that directs the petition to be referred to the appropriate committee. And so at this time, I think that we can mellow down on the hype of the whole circumstances so that we can reach an amicable resolution of the issues involved, and then we can move forward.
All right. Talking about the hype, is the Senate, the 10th Senate, not bothered about the bad publicity that this whole saga is creating for distinguished members of the Senate, particularly your Senate, the President of the Senate? Did you hear me, Senator?
Go on.
Yeah, I asked. I said the bad publicity that this whole saga is creating, isn't the Senate bothered about it, particularly on the Senate President? I mean, the whole saga, the bad publicity it is creating, isn't the Senate bothered about it?
If the Senate is not bothered about it, I wouldn't be talking about resolution of the issues at stake. I can tell you that there is no senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria who is not bothered by this publicity. And of course, like I have said, and I agree with you, it's negative publicity. And that is not, I don't think that is good for the Senate. It is not good for the institution. And that is why all of us are worried. And that is why all of us are advocating dialogue and engagement to resolve the issue as quickly as possible.
Well, she has gone to court, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. She has sued the Senate and others for 103 billion naira. The Senate President's wife also has gone to court. She's also suing Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan 250 million or so. What's your response to her going to court, Senate President's wife going to court? I don't know. What's your response?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know the implication of anything, opinion that I can offer on this matter, but I can only say that the extent to which the whole situation has dragged on to is very, very unfortunate. And I can only say at this point that all of us concerned about this matter, particularly myself that is caught in the middle of the storm, will do everything that we can to ensure that this matter is resolved as quickly as possible.
All right. Well, I was just going to ask before I let you go, assuming there's going to be proper investigation, will the Senate President be willing to step down for that to be carried out?
Well, I think that is actually a question that the Senate President only can answer. I think it will be presumptive, too presumptive for me to say here if the Senate President will step down or will not step down. That is an issue that he can answer himself. But I want to tell you this, that the Senate President, certainly as the head of that institution, is not unmindful of the opinions of members of the public. And you can agree with me that opinions are very divided. But he himself, as a leader of the Senate, the President of the Senate, certainly is concerned that an issue of rearrangement of seats and the rest of them in the Senate is generating too much heat and negative publicity. And I can assure you that the Senate President that I know will do everything that he can to ensure that this thing is put behind us.
Thank you so much, Minority Leader Senator Abba Moro, for your time